Hi friends, it's Suzanne here from sunstampin.com, a Canadian Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Today's card features the At Home With You and the Timeless Textures stamp set. So I previously colored the door from the At Home With You stamp set with my Stampin' Blend markers, my alcohol markers, and I'm masking off the door frame with some masking paper. This is Stampin' masking paper from Inkadink-A-Doo, and I'm also doing the windows as well. So this was my inspiration. While I was renovating my home, I sort of redid some furniture and I came across this and I just loved it. I loved it and I wanted to recreate something. I couldn't do it in my home, so I'm going to do it on a card, so you'll just have to bear with. So I'm using my Embossing Buddy Versamark ink. And I am stamping with that Timeless Textures image of that stencil. I'm trying to recreate that gold stencil. Now, obviously, I wasn't able to create the blending that went on in the door, but I didn't do too badly with my alcohol markers, at least creating some shadows and that sort of thing. And maybe one day I'll do another video about coloring, but pretty much, you know, coloring is personal preference, and as long as you know how to the basic rules for the alcohol markers, you're not going to have any problem with them. Use Memento ink when you are stamping, and you know, blend between light and dark. Try not to oversaturate paper too much, but I do find the alcohol markers have a tendency to blend better when the paper is somewhat saturated. It's like a fine tune. All right, anyway, so heat embossed that with gold embossing powder. Now you can see I'm stamping in Tranquil Tide, and I did 2 stamps because I wanted to make sure that it was going to be okay for me to color on top of this ink, and it was. So, and this little image from the the At Home With You stamp set wasn't big enough, so I just had to go in with my marker and join the 2 lines because I stamped, you know, the edges on one and the edges on the other and left a little gap. So I'm just coming in again with my alcohol markers. This is the crumb cake version, and just making the thing look like wood. Then I had done a whole bunch of images too. It was super much fun just sitting in front of the TV, you know, coloring. And so I die cut them out, and the At Home dies that correspond with the stamp set. So that is the Wood Textures Designer Series paper. That's going to be the exterior of my house. And this is embossing paste. This came out new in the catalog this last year. I'm really liking it. Do be careful, it does dry very quickly. You want to make sure that that lid goes right back on there, and I do suggest that you push the product in to the very bottom of the jar. And I just took a little bit of cardstock there and wiped off a little bit of that snow from my house. I didn't want it to interfere with anything. And then this is the welcome mat, except I don't believe in putting welcome on my front door just in case there's vampires around. So I don't want to welcome them into my house, so I'm not going to do that on this card either. So it's just a plain mat. And then I just adhered the door with fast fuse, and then mini dimensionals for that wreath. And then here goes my Merry Christmas wood thing. It might have been a little bit overkill with all these little embellishments, but I did have a lot of fun with them. I probably could have left the wreath off. Now that I'm looking at it, it does look a little crowded and you don't get to see the window, but whatever. Next card, because I stamped out a whole bunch of these, so I'll have some fun coloring. So anyway, normal dimensionals and little dimensionals, mini dimensionals. On the back of those planters, and then this is a white Signo pen, and I'm dotting it on the non-welcoming welcome mat to make it look like snow. And now I'm going in with my fine tip glue pen and going over anything that looks like glass or in this case baubles on the bushes. And yeah, I had, oh, and also too on the handle, because it's brass metal, I wanted to make it look shiny. And then I had a heck of a time trying to fold this without touching anything that was wet. I should have waited, but you know, I'm doing a video here. Gotta, you know, do the whole thing. And that is my card for today. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you again soon. Bye. Hey, thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. On screen are 2 more videos for inspiration. Click on the maple leaf to visit my website, or click on me to subscribe to my channel. Thanks again for watching.